You.
I don't wanna know 下手な真実なら I don't wanna know 知らないくらいがいいのに Why 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 気づけば I came too far 止まらない感じるこの予感は The new beginning 未知の領域今を切り開くんだ I gotta believe そっとエキサイエキサイ
火星で発見されたパンドラボックスが引き起こしたスカイウォールの惨劇から10年、我が国は東と西と北斗の3つに分かれ混沌を極めていた。
時代を駆け抜けた平成仮面ライダーたち、今その力が未来へと受け継がれる。祝え、新たなる王の誕生。一瞬に掴み取るのさ Are you ready？ 新しい歴史はそこにペレペレ。光を駆けに加速して、このままシャリラウシャリラウ今を進めよう。惑う日も幾度となく明日の扉叩け、見つめたその先に飛び込んでみたら Believe yourself Now overcome 時の雨すぎる手で共に You overcome 未来を超えよう。過去の意志は嘘では傾けない感じろ So make the future Now overcome まばゆい世界見せて。人工知能搭載人型ロボヒューマギアがさまざまな仕事をサポートする新時代。 AI テクノロジー企業の若き社長が人々の夢を守るため今飛び立つ。こらな赤いルーアクセスして検索したって I don't think it's right データは過去を残したい答えを Go for the time Rewind
Okay, just wanted to finish the song before we get started. Welcome to the stream, everybody! As it was determined on the vote off on social media, we are going to be building the Mech Break Falcon today. Now then, I did get this, the Hemopla Kaio, but since she did not finish the vote off, I'm probably just going to build her off stream. I've actually been holding on to the Falcon for a while for a stream, but I wanted to give you guys a chance if you wanted me to build something else first. So for now, we're going to start on the base because there's these really big pieces for it. Both to get these big pieces out of the way and also because, well, let's face it, it would be nice to have a stand to actually put everything on after we're done. Especially if we don't finish on time. So the first thing we do, because I'm going to be going off the instructions here. Let's see. Put these pieces right in here like so. Oh, wait. Before I forget, I forgot to put these on. Put on the gloves so we don't fingerprint anything, because there is some clear plastic, and I don't want to fingerprint the clear plastic at all. But yeah, we put these 4 pieces right here. Then we snap this on like so. Yeah, the base is going to be the pretty easiest thing we're going to be building because all the pieces are just really large, and also the fact that there's not a whole lot of those pieces. There are pieces we're going to have to cut off the runners, though, it looks like. Glue to snip off the runner. You can also kind of see some of the pieces are already starting to come off the runner there. Okay. Gotta be careful here, my cord's in the way. Undergating. At least it's not egregious, like in super tight spaces that are really hard to clean off. Okay, let's see. The direction this has to go is right here. Kind of looks like the launch elevator. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I have not played Mech Break. My computer will not allow me to do so because it's too memory heavy. Okay. Oh. Goes on like that. And then like that. And then we snip this piece off. Boop. 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 Okay, that's undergated, so okay, we're getting the launch elevator / weapon rack assembled here. Okay, next up. Okay, we gotta take this piece that already broke off, the runner. It's not broken, it's just come off the runner, so. Okay, and this piece was already starting to come off the runner, so I just gotta snip that one little piece that's stuck on still. Okay, so this piece. Okay, it seems it has to go on a certain way. Okay, there we go. Because I have to make sure that it's aligned properly because that goes on like so. Oh, my screen's in the way there. And then we take piece 9. And snip that off a bit. Yeah, this looks to be like an extender. Probably because this is the girl kit, and I wouldn't be surprised if they use the exact same stands for just the mecha, because they do sell the mechas kits too. Okay, gotta make sure I got this thing aligned properly. There we go. As I said, I believe when you take this piece off, it comes right off. And this is just for like the mecha. Oh shit. I seem to have bent that piece. Oh well, that could be fixed. Yeah. Ah, crap. Okay. It snapped. Leave it to me to snap a kit right on the frickin' start. Thankfully, I can just glue this piece back on. It's not like... First off, it's not like a structural piece. It's just a filler. You can easily just glue that back on later. Okay, so we need 7. Fuck's sake, I can't believe it. I broke a piece right in the fucking start of the stream. Again, it's not a critical piece, but it's still... I broke fucking something. Okay, so where's 1? Oh, that is loose. I'm gonna have to just use the red nippers to get that off. Okay, so this piece goes right into here like so. And then we get number 2. Yeah, these things are kind of loose on the runner, so I can just snip them right off. Doesn't look like this has any undergating, so right about here. Okay, that seems to be the joint there. And then 4... Snip this off like so. And 5 off this runner. Okay, these pieces are a little bit more secure, so they do not have to be snipped right off. Ah, shit. Okay, that goes... Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me! Okay, OBS is starting to be a little bit of a pain in my frickin' ass right now. Oh wait, I got that upside down, didn't I? Yeah, I got that upside down. Okay, got that in place like so, and hang on a minute while I fix something here. Okay. Hopefully that's going to fix the issue. Because I'm using a new internet service provider. Had to fix a little something there before I was able to... this stream's just cursed, isn't it? Okay, we need 5. Yeah, because that's the 3rd time I've had to I got a disconnect on there, but that's more like switching out some variables to try to get the thing stable. I don't know why it was disconnecting earlier, though. Seriously, if we're going to have continuous disconnection issues, we're going to have a problem. Okay, I was just test fitting something. We need this piece right here. Just snip that off. Okay, this is going to be a tricky one because it's on a weird angle. Okay, it goes in like so. That is the lock, I believe, to keep that in place. Of course, it's not going to... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, at least it's not like the last stream where it just flew off somewhere and I had to cancel. Seriously, this stream feels cursed. I don't know why. It feels cursed. Okay. I got a lot more customs planned for later. Not gonna say if I'm gonna actually build anything on stream, but there are options. There are options. You can see that is the locking mechanism, so lock that in place. It's not gonna move. Still need to glue that side in, but again, it's not major in the grand scheme of things. It's just a filler. Okay, put the tray down like so. I'm going ahead of myself a little bit here, but okay, we brought that tray down. Then we put this in place to lock the tray in. So oh, that's weird. That is, I don't know why. That's a really tight fit. And it's not like, okay, hang on. Okay, I don't know why it's so tight. Don't say it. I do not want to hear that's what she said. Okay, I'm going to have to do something about how tight that's fitting. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to mute my mic for a second. Okay, I'm back, and I think this is a good opportunity to show off a technique I use anytime that something's a little too tight. I use tape. Just rub that down on the joint like so, and it lubricates fairly decently. I'm not sure how it's going to work on this large piece, but usually I find that tape residue actually lubricates joints pretty well. So if I put that in, yeah, that's sliding a lot better now. Doesn't feel so tight. So if I put this back on like so, yeah, it's still tight, but sliding a lot better now than it was before. Yeah, it's still very tight. It's still very tight, but it's now going to be moving more freely now. Okay, next up are these two pieces right here. Hang on, give me a second. It doesn't seem I need to shrink down so you can actually see what I'm doing a lot better. It's already one runner down. Not looking forward to this weekend. Not looking forward to it at all. Because anyone who's watched the weather knows exactly what's coming. Okay, it says it's supposed to go in here, but... Okay, maybe it's... Yeah, that's where the post is, so... That's undergated. That's not undergated. I don't know why. Okay, so this goes in like so, and I'm going to test this. See how tight that is. Okay, it's pretty secure. There's enough grip on there that I don't think that the model's going to fall off. But it's not tight enough where I feel like it's going to break on me. So we're going to clip this off pretty quickly because it looks like it's a little loose on here. And that just goes right under here like so. So now we have the stand ready. And it goes right here. And this goes right here. I'm going to take this piece and just put it off to the side for now. So yeah, now we have the display stand, and I do like how that looks. It definitely looks like a launch bay. That has a nice click to it. That has some nice clicking to it, but I guess you got to hold this down to keep it in place, because if you move it around without holding it, it just gets loose. You have to press in to lock it in, it looks like. And of course, that holds it up. I think this could actually hold up a master grade Gundam on this. I mean, if this was a little bit longer, it might work quite well for a master grade Gundam. Now then, what is this piece for? Z. I'm just checking some. Ah, yes. So yeah, pressing it down on this end releases the lock. Pressing it down on this end locks it in place. So yeah. It is solid in there. You can't move it at all. And that is strange. I'm trying to find what this last piece on here is, which is 8. But it doesn't seem to have anything in the instructions that tell you what it is used for. I'm guessing it's for something, but for now, we'll just have to leave it. Oh, wait, let me check. Ah, I see. It's actually X'd out on the parts count, so we actually don't need it. So because we are done with this runner, but we needed this as a spare for something later, because we can always use it for something later, I am going to cut it out of the runner, throw away the excess, put that in storage. That's what I do with my excess parts, is that I just cut them off, put them in storage. Also, it appears that these runners right here don't use anything except for these little bits right here, as we need 4 of them. Yeah, because when I was checking the part count, it says that only these 2 pieces are used. So, and of course they give us 6, it looks like, because there's 2 of these runners. So I'm going to quickly go here and see exactly where we need to put these. So I'm going to pop this off first, and we're going to put these here, because these are the weapon storage racks. It also looks like the backpack unit just plugs into the back when you're done. So that's 1 weapon storage hanger. Now let's clip out the other one. Okay, and this one goes right above the previous set. Like so. And of course, we have a set of spares on the runner, but this entire thing is not needed anymore. So let's put that back on. And we've gotten that taken care of. Okay, so now we'll actually get started on the girl kit. So let us see. We need runner A. We need runner E. Which one's E? There's runner E. And we need runner J, which I believe is one of these little, yeah, these little tiny ones, which I didn't put in the holder because they're just way too big. I mean, way too small, and this too big, so it's going to get lost. So let's see, what do we need to cut out here? A3. Snip. 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 And we need E1, which is her headset. So snip, snip. And okay, this is going to be a little tricky here. Snip, snip. I'm debating here. Yeah, I'm going to wait until after I paint this, because I do plan to paint this eventually, before I put these in, because quite frankly, those are tiny. And if it was just plastic, I'd be more than willing to do so. But considering that these are the clear plastic, and I don't like to paint over the clear plastic unless I have to, I'm going to leave those off for now. Also, we don't want another incident like what we had here. So we're just going to put the headset on for now and just leave the clear plastic off for later, because I am still deciding how I want to paint this head. I'm probably going to keep the hair color the same. I don't know. But usually you don't want to paint the clear plastic, because then you have to clear coat it, and clear coating kind of fogs up clear plastic pretty well, unless you're using like a really good lacquer paint. Interesting, interesting. It only goes through this one side. I thought it was for both sides, but yeah. We slide that in like so. Yeah, we're not going to put the clear plastic piece in. That's way too small, and I don't want to try to remove it later when I paint this. Okay, we need... Oh, thank you for falling over, Runner B. That's actually what we were looking for. I'd also like to point out that some of these pieces, it's kind of hard to show up on camera, but hang on. Let me see if I can fix that a bit. Okay, I have to turn on my... Okay, my backlight compensation has been reset, so... Okay, now you can probably see it better, but yeah. Some of these pieces are already pre-painted on here. So we have the white on her chest already painted. Also, I noticed this, and it was the first time I actually noticed it. The inside of her wings are also pre-painted as well. It's very rare for a kit to be pre-painted unless it's like just the eyes or something like that. That's usually what you expect when you see pre-painted parts, is that the eyes are pre-painted, but not these little tiny fine details or like inner workings that are usually just used by alternate parts, or just ultimately they just expect you to paint it. But yeah, having a lot of the pre-painted stuff is really interesting, although it is making the plans for painting this myself a bit harder. So we put this in like so. That's also very weird because there's a slot here. Normally there's a peg hole or peg here. And of course, more stuff for the, like, where the you attach the face. But it looks like the face is attached on by this slot. Not sure how that's going to work, but we'll see. So we're going to take one of the faces here. Let's see. I think we'll just take the standard stock face and, yeah, slot. Just goes in like so. Let's see how easy that is to remove. Yeah, that's actually a lot easier to remove than most other faces I've actually built before. And of course we're gonna, okay, there's no cleanup on these faces because usually when you cut off, when you get the faces, they usually have like a little tab on them, but none of these faces have tabs on them. So I'm guessing I could just slide this open and we can just slot these in. And okay, let's see if they, yeah, they fit. That's actually good. That's actually good for us because now we don't have to worry about it later. Okay, let's see what's next. A6 and A12, which is her hair pieces. Let's see, A12 is right there. Snip that off like so. A6. Oh, it looks like her hair is composed of like 5 pieces, it looks like, for each ponytail. So we also need, I'm just going to cut all these pieces off for her ponytail just to get it out of the way. 14 is right here. And 1. Okay, so not counting the joint, let's see, how many pieces for each ponytail? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's roughly about 5 pieces per ponytail, it looks like. And that's not counting the 2 joints in the, the 2 parts for the joint. And I am going to be very careful with the joint because it is one of those small wrist joints I really hate building. Hang on a moment, I gotta mute my mic here for a second. Okay, I just had someone come back home, so I had to mute there for a second. Let me see. Okay, this is the piece I need. I need it like that, and goes in like so. Then we take this little tiny piece here, stuff it into the tab like so. Oh my gosh, that's a really tight fit, and it's also very snug fit. Trying to get that into a little tiny spot. Okay, let's see. A 14 goes right. Oh, this is like a really interesting spot to put a piece right here, but okay, there we go. And next up is, oh my goodness, you have to fit these together like puzzle pieces to get these parts in properly, but there's one ponytail. Okay, now for the part that's really going to be tricky, the joint. Thankfully, they give us 4, but of course, when I built Attack Girls, unfortunately for me, all the damn wrist joints broke. Okay, I have to be very careful cutting these out because I do not want to even try to clean these off because I don't want to break anything. I want to try to get them as clean as possible on the first cut. And then carefully put the joint together like so. I'm testing the joint out. It doesn't feel tight, thank goodness, because usually joints like this are super tight. I don't want to hear it again. Don't say it. Don't say it. Okay, I am testing the joint gently to make sure that it's not too tight. Because if it's too tight, I might need to lubricate it. Okay. It feels okay for now. It feels okay. Feels okay. Okay. The joint does not feel like it's gonna break. It doesn't feel too tight. I think it should be fine. It should be fine. But again, that's what I said about Attack Girl wrist joints. And I had almost all of them break on me a few years ago. That permanently put a kit on my shelf for now because I am not going to touch that kit until I can find more wrist joints for it. But yeah, when you're dealing with those little tiny joints, you really have to be careful. That's also why I like the Bandai joints better because it's not a straight cut in the middle. It's like angled. So that way you don't have pressure on the peg. It's also worth mentioning that when I built that hopping vampire girl kit with the long ponytail in the back, a few days later her joint broke, despite the fact that it felt fine when I put it in. I think it's because the paint on it finally stuck, and also because it was on soft plastic, which becomes kind of which definitely holds a grip on those parts pretty hard. So that was kind of like a, okay, what's now? But thankfully that I could fix because the joint's not super critical. It's just for extra style. Okay, we got the joint. I'm also going to just cut this piece off preemptively because that is going to be the last piece we have to put on later. Wait a minute. Of course, I was supposed to put the bangs on already. So we'll cut the bangs off, and then I will cut the spares off the runner like so. So that way I can throw away the excess and not have to worry about, oh, I have to cut that middle part right there. Yeah. So now I have the spare joints I can just put into the spare parts box and don't have to worry about losing them. Okay, so we gotta carefully clean this up. Sometimes I have to go twice because really hard to see where the nub is because of how light the plastic is. And also because the curved surfaces are pretty difficult to see like a nub on unless you're looking at a certain angle, so you have to really look on these. Oh boy. Okay, I am bringing these up as close to my face as possible. I am wearing safety glasses though. I am wearing safety glasses, so I will not be having parts fly into my eye. But yeah, I'm going to be very carefully looking over every piece to make sure that the nub is completely gone. Next up, very carefully, because there is a curve here where the nub is, so I have to be careful not to ruin the curve. Make sure there's no undergating. Next up, okay, I have to make sure that I don't get the tab by accident. Okay, third up. I mean, next up. I don't know why I said third. I'm already on the fifth part. Yeah. And there we go. We got them cleaned. Let's put this on since we were supposed to put it on already. Oh, crap. That's a tight fit. That's a tight fit. That might cause problems later. So I am going to take care of that right now. Lubricate it with some tape. Oh, wait. Hang on. I gotta... If I'm going to get the whole peg, I'm going to have to get the face off. And now it's a little trickier to get it off because I'm also dealing with the pigtail. Okay, now which side is the sticky side? There it is. So just carefully rub those pegs down to lubricate them. You can see I'm just lubricating the thing down a bit. Now let's test this out, see if it... Yeah, that fits on a lot better, and I don't feel like I'm going to break it if I try it. So, yeah, it's still pretty snug on there, but at least it's a lot more easily removable, especially when I'm not wearing gloves later. Okay, so pieces go in like so. Okay, this is tricky because you gotta line up all the pieces properly. As I said, it fits like a puzzle. Push that in like so. Okay, the next piece is this one right here, and okay, I have to curl it around to get it to fit properly in place. And next up, we have to pop that in, and that is her other pigtail. Now I have to be very careful putting this together. Very, very, very tight, tiny peg that I do not want to break. Okay, that feels good. That feels good. Ah, I noticed something. It's a hexagon hole, not a straight hole, which means there is enough room for it to move around and still have a gap, so it's not tightly gripping onto the piece. So we pop that in like so, swing that around, and we have finished the head. Okay. Now then, next up is the torso. We already have B here. We need D, which I believe is D is right here. We also need E, which is right here. We also need C. We need G. Let's see, that's H, G. And we need X1, X1, X1. Now that's X2. Where's X1? Is it the skin tone here? Yeah, X1 is skin tone. Okay. So now we are going to work on the torso. Let's see. We need B13. Oh, wait, you need B1 first. I'm reading this wrong. So we got B1, B13. Snip that off carefully. D1, and that is this color right here. Snip, snip, snip. We need E3. Of course, E3 as a convention doesn't exist anymore. Sorry, I had to do the reference. Snip, snip, snip. And X1, 3. And snip, snip. Okay, that's the start of the torso right there. So let's clean these up while we're at it. Snip, snip. Okay, carefully snip that there. Snip. Snip. Oh, we got undergating there. That's a problem. And it's the kind of undergating I hate because it's in a really tight spot. Okay, so X3 goes right into here like so. I think the white on her chest piece here could use a little bit touch up because it kind of has a translucence to it, but it also kind of looks like they didn't spray it down completely because it's really prominent. You can still see the under color of the plastic right up here on top. Snip. Almost snipped off too much. There we go. And this goes right here, like so. And snaps on like so already. It looks as though there is no way to swap out the chest piece, but then again, this is supposed to be a static piece here. You're not supposed to be able to swap it out for a less armored chest or anything like that. So snip off the remaining nubs. And we put this piece right up here. Like so. Yeah, the white is more prominent on the actual white piece than it is on the chest. But then again, I guess because it's fabric, they thought they could get away with it. Let's see. X7-1, which I believe is her neck joint. No, wait, X1, 7. I read that wrong. There we go. Next we need, that's E, we need G, and we need 4 and 5. So there's 5. There's 4. And we also need B10. So snip out B10. There we go. Okay, let's clean these bits off. Yeah, considering how big the box is, I was actually expecting this to be like a Megami device or a frame arms girl or something with a lot of complex parts I have to build, but there wasn't a whole lot of runners. It does seem like most of the box's size was just for this, the base. Yeah, it comes with plenty of faces, that's for sure, but I'm actually shocked at just how big the box was with how little there was for runners. Okay, do I have this in right? Of course not. I have it in wrong. It's supposed to go the other side. Okay, so the tip goes towards the back side, like so. Then we clean this piece up. And then put in the neck joint like so. Okay, it seems like it has to go a certain way because the thing was kind of stuck. Okay, now we take this piece and, yeah, undergating right next to a tab, so I have to be very careful. Okay, I need to get this close to my face so I can actually see where the tab is. I mean, not the tab, the nub. Because I have to snip snip it before I get the undergating, or else I'm going to have it not clean. So there we go. There is the upper torso. Although not completely done because we still got a few more pieces to add, which are just the detail pieces. Like, for example, the collar, which is G17. Snip those off. And we snip this off right here and this off right here. Now we put the collar on. Let's see. How does this go? How does this go? Yeah, I'm just looking at this here to see exactly how it's supposed to fit in. So it goes in like so. There's 2 holes back there. That's for another piece later. Let's see. We need D2. And D only has 2 pieces, so we just need to get this piece off. And it's only connected. It's very loosely connected, so it's fairly easy to get off. So let's see. How does this go? How does this go? Okay, it goes up here. That's very tricky, but we got it in, like so. And now we need E. We need E11. We're going to snip. Oh, come on. Snip. Snip. Okay, and I need to be very careful because the nub blends into the part really, really closely, so I have to really look at the part to see where the part ends and the nub begins. Okay, got that, and it goes over like so. And There we go. We got the little part on the back of her head. Now we need E8. Oh, that's a little tiny thing, but it's not terrible. Yeah, and these things are barely hanging on, so I only have to use the red. And it just fills in that little space right there under her neck. Like so. Okay, next up is X14, and that gives us her neck joint. Her second neck joint, because this is another one of those 2 ball joint systems they have for... Yeah, I'm also looking. I believe these are her shoulders here, and again, it's a hexagon hole, which means there's at least enough space for the peg to move around without catching on anything. It is one of those things where it's like, I really do appreciate when they do that. I wouldn't be surprised if the joint for her pigtails was the same. Let me see. Does this require me to put it into a certain way? Okay, no, it is just the same regardless. So we just pop that in. Pop it in like so. There we go. Bit of a tight fit, but not terrible. Yeah. It doesn't feel like a ball joint I'm going to be worried about breaking, but it is kind of tight. So we're just going to pop this on the stand like so for now. And I do believe it's time for a break. I think this is a good place to stop for break for now. So I'm just going to do another like a 3-5 minute break, and we'll be returning to do the lower torso next. So hang on tight. We will be right back. And we're back. Okay, during the break I took my gloves off because we don't have any other clear plastic pieces to work on, it looks like. Not to mention my fingers were getting sweaty, so it was kind of starting to affect my ability to actually put parts together. Okay, so what is next? $18. Okay, it says B. No, no. G. We need G. So we need G18. Also, you may have noticed I am playing Kamen Rider themes because, to be honest, it's just going to be a lot easier for me to do so in the long run, because then I might get in trouble if I try to play anything off of iTunes. That's for damn sure. Okay, so we need C. There we go. We need 5 and 6. Yeah, there we go. 5 and 6. I do have plans for Kamen Rider builds. For example, I still have Cyclone Hopper, which, of course, USA Gundam Store just got in stock, but my order is currently still pending delivery because it only just reached US Customs today. So that I should have soon. I also have another Kamen Rider themed build, but it's more of a personal one to me because it's not like an existing pre-made Kamen Rider build. It's actually going to be my own design. I'll be a little bit more specific later, but unfortunately right now I am also still trying to hunt down a few extra pieces for it because this is going to need a few things that are not quite stock. For example, I need to find a belt for one. And of course the Gachapon belts, I've seen people test those out. They only work on the 1/8 scale, the Grande frame arms girl kits. Let's see, I believe this goes in right here like so. That's one. Now for the other. I also want to try to find the motorcycle because you can easily just find the motorcycles without the labels and decals of the rider on them. Considering I'm going to be repainting this anyway, that's probably going to be my best bet to do what I need to do. But yeah, it's going to be like trying to find the belt and the weapons. I mean, I tried looking online. I can't find anyone who's selling like just the parts, which is what I'm going to be needing. Let's see. E10. Here we go. Staring me right in the damn face. And of course, I do want to try to get a helmet, but again, I am not finding anyone who's just selling the parts that I need. And it also is stylized, so I think it just might be best to find someone who's willing to make it for me, but that's also going to cost quite a bit, and I'd rather not spend that much money on just one specific part. Okay, we got the front of the torso done. So now we need the back of the torso where we need B10. I'm also going to need to get a lot of paint for a lot of projects soon because I did post on social media some other custom figures I want to make. I only have a handful on order right now. Some of them aren't released yet. Others are just like, okay, I want to do this, but I'm going to have to wait until I actually get the parts for a good price and or have the money to do so. Because I do have to carefully budget on what I can actually get anytime. Especially considering that I did get my hands on the Daytime Meteor kit, which is that giant dragon lady. And that thing is taking over a month to deliver, honestly, because that thing's a huge freaking box. I got a good deal on it, but yeah. Yeah, one of the things I have to be mindful of is also making sure that when a deal comes through, I have the means of actually getting it. But yeah, trying to remember. I have the pieces for Trixie. I'm currently waiting on an order for pieces for Gigi. This kit I'm going to actually use for Sayu's female form, of course, as I stated before. Wait, I got this upside down. Let's see. Joel and Juniper, their parts will not be released until later this year. Same with the kit I plan to use to make Ryoa. I believe that's how I pronounce. I'm trying to remember right off the top of my head. I can't remember without actually seeing the name in front of my face right now. Trying to remember who else was on that list of characters I was planning to make. The ones I have voting off on, Numi and Botan, it seems that people want me to do the Botan instead of Numi. But I have found a alternate kit for Numi, so it should be okay. Ah, I just noticed something. There's a little piece of black already pre-painted on that piece. I didn't notice that before. Okay, we also need E9, and that's a little tiny piece that I can just easily trim out like so. Okay, this one I got to really look closely because it's a little tiny piece with a lot of room for error here. Come on, get in there. Okay, got it in. Like so. Okay, and now we need Z15. Okay, these seem to be nothing but the joint, so this is a tiny piece I can just trim off fairly easily. Okay, it seems we gotta put it in this side. Oh, come on, come on. I took the gloves off for better grip, and now my fingers are just flubbing these parts. And we also need X1, which again is barely hanging on right now, so I gotta just trim these off with the red clippers. Yeah. And we just put this right there. Ball joint's nice and secure. And then we just pop this piece on like so. Hang on. That's weird, that's weird. It seems like the pieces aren't lining up properly. Okay, that's looks to be about as good as it's gonna get. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That spot right there, it's popping out. There we go, got it in. Yeah, one of the pieces was just popping out of place, so I had to snap it in real quick. Okay, let's get her off there and pop the torso together like so. Nice fit. It doesn't feel too tight. It also doesn't feel too loose. So we should be good to go from there. We just put that back on the stand. And next up is the arms. Okay, this is one of those ones where you have to do it left and then right. Sometimes it's left, sometimes it goes right then left, sometimes it goes left then right. It just depends on the... Okay, do we need... Okay, we don't need E anymore. We still need B. We need F, so one runner of F. We need X1 still. We also need X2, which are these runners right here, so we're going to put that right there. Let's see, what else do we need? We need C. We've already have C out, I believe. Yeah, C is right here. And C. We also need F. That's G, E. Okay, where's F? Where's F? Wait, did I already grab F? Yeah, I already grabbed F. Sorry, I am losing track of my mind here. So we got C, G, F, X2, and X1. So we got everything we need. Oh, we also got B here. So that's everything we need for the left arm. Oh, we also need the hands. So let's see, which one? Okay, I'm just going to place on the... Actually, I'm probably just going to snip these off while I'm at it, just to get them out of the way. Because it's just going to be a lot easier in the long run to have all the hands off. So, let's see, that is that. And these are, of course, very soft rubbery plastic, which means I am not worried about them holding anything. What I am worried about is the peg that goes into them, because it could be a bit of a tight fit. Unless, hang on. I can't tell if that's a hexagon or not. It's hard to say. Considering this is black plastic, it's really dark and hard to actually look into. But yeah, I'm going to cut off every single one of the hands while I'm at it, just to get them out of the way. And since this is soft plastic, I can just go right with the red nippers. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? Oh my goodness, there's a lot of holding hands for this thing. I don't know why. Because she only has one set of weapons, I see. She doesn't have, like, multiple weapons. Like, she doesn't have, like, extra guns or melee weapons or anything like that. Just the standard, there we go. Ah, that's also interesting. We also have a set of hands that are unarmored. That's weird. I'm guessing it's a style choice, really, but of course we're going to go with the armored hands. I don't know why they gave us a set of unarmored hands, too, because there's no real need for it. Although they do give a few extra expressions with the unarmored hands, it looks like. Okay, there we go. And just got to get that last bit of nub off. Okay, making quick work on getting these hands out. Oh, a little bit of nub got stuck on there. Okay. Last one, which is just 3 hands. Oh, come on. Oh, crud. That did not cut through all the way. Yeah, sometimes the soft plastic, if you cut it, it doesn't go through all the way. There we go. That's one more to go. Let's get those nippers close to the thing as possible without cutting too much. Ah! Done. Okay, let's open this up. Oh, her face got caught there. Okay, so armored hands open, unarmored hand open, unarmored hand gripping, armored hand open. Yeah, I'm going to use the armored open hands because when we build the weapons, I'm actually just going to put them on the display stand. So we just slide that in place. Bit of a tight fit. Wait, hang on. I just had to make sure there wasn't anything catching on there and I wasn't trying to force it. So there we go. Okay, let's get started on the arms. Let's see, we need 1 and 3 from this runner. So 1. And 3. And after that, we need X2. And the part we need is 12. Okay, let's see, 12, 12, 12. There we go. There we go. Now let's clean those off. Okay, there we go. Is there undergating on this? Yeah, there is undergating on this piece. That sucks. Okay. Next piece is this one. Okay, there isn't any undergating right where the peg is, thank goodness, but there is undergating elsewhere on the model, which pain in the butt, but you do what you can with what you got. Okay, so this goes here. Okay, I need to carefully check this, make sure that I got it right where it needs to go. And pop that in like so. No. Peg, go in. Go in. Hang on. It's not like Bandai plastic where if there's a stress mark, you can just scrape it off. Nope. Okay, so that's the upper arm. Now it seems that we need to build the lower arm, which is right here. Let's see, we need 8. No, wait, we need 7, not 8. Okay, so we got 7, and we got 2. There we go. And we need 12. For a second there I thought it said 11, but no, it's 12. This is interesting because it's molded in one straight piece. Also, I noticed this. Another pre-painted piece. Interesting. Okay. Let's clean these pieces up a bit. And there we go. Yeah, this kit seems to have a lot fewer pieces than I thought it was going to be, given how big the box was. Snip that off. snip this off really carefully. Let me see, is there any undergating? No, there doesn't seem to be any undergating, so let's get that piece in like so. And let me see, how does this piece go in? Yeah, I have to be careful because this piece is a pain in the butt. There we go. There it is, there it is, there it is. Oh, wait, that's not where it goes. Okay, instructions make it very difficult to see exactly which direction it's supposed to go in. Also seems I forgot to snip off a piece here. Okay, let's squeeze that together. Pop that in place like so. And there we got the upper arm. I mean, the full arm, I mean. Okay, so next up we need 3 and 6 off runner B. 3 and 6. Okay, there's 6 right there. We need 3. Okay, next up we need 2, which is easy enough because there's only one piece that looks like that, although there's 2 on the runner. Let's see, we also need F7, which is right here. Easy enough. This is kind of interesting because normally when Malika does this, that little gray piece would just be a separate piece, but nope, they pre-painted it for us. And oh boy. Okay, this has hexagons on it, so I'm not terribly worried, but yeah, we need to start building the wrist joints, which is 2 and 6. Oh boy. Oh boy. Gonna need the red on this one. And there's 2 joints per runner, and there's 2 X2 runners, which means we only have 4 to work with. So if something goes wrong, we have very little margin for error. I hate that. I hate that really a lot. Honestly, they give us like a bunch of different joints sometimes. So sometimes yeah, I remember building frame arms girls, and they only give you like 2 joints. And you break one, you're screwed. Oh crap. Oh crap, that is a tight joint. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Hang on, do I have this in right? Oh my gosh, that is locked in place tight, so I am definitely not going to be monkeying around with that anytime soon. I have to be very careful putting this in, because if I so much as try to put it in at a funny angle, this thing is going to break. But yeah, that joint is locked in tight, so next time I build this joint, I am going to lubricate the frick out of that thing, because I cannot move that for the life of me. That is way too tight. I am going to need to lubricate that next time I build that joint. Because that's putting way too much pressure on the peg. That is way, way too much pressure on the peg. That's going to snap if I don't do something about it later. I can disassemble the peg later. I can disassemble the joint. I can try to fix that, but it is going to be very, very challenging to do so. I'm not going to be doing it on stream. In fact, I'm also probably not going to build another joint on stream. We'll have to just wait and see, because I might need another piece of tape if I so much as want to try. Okay, so this goes right in here like so. That joint is not terrible. Doesn't feel terrible. It also doesn't feel like I'm putting too much stress on it, so that's actually pretty good. snip. And that's all we need, so we put this on like so, and this on like so, and there we have an arm. Put that in. Hang on. I have to test this out because if the ball joint is too tight, we're going to be in trouble. Okay. Testing the joint. Carefully testing the joint. Moving it around. Moving it around. Okay, it doesn't feel too tight. It does not feel too tight. That we should be good on the shoulder, but I might want to lubricate that just a little bit, just in case. Yeah, it doesn't feel terrible. Doesn't feel like it's too tight, but yeah, that wrist joint is definitely going to need to be worked on later. Okay, so now we build the opposite arm. So we also need 4 and 2 off of this runner. So snip that off really quick. Let's see, we're also going to need another 12, which is also on this runner right here. Okay, we're going to need the other, no, that's E. We need the other G, which is right over here. So we're going to need, oh wait, this is F, but yeah, same thing. We need this piece for sure. We need this piece for sure. Okay, where is... Okay, G, we still got parts on here we need to get off, so we need this piece right here. Snip that off. This piece right here we need to snip off. There we go. I do believe we also need this piece right here. Oh, that wasn't even attached on. Just flew right off. Thankfully, that was just a nub and not the critical part we need. Okay, I believe the next pieces we need to cut out are right here. So snip, 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 snip. Oh, come on, get through there all the way. There we go. Yeah, that is surprisingly quite a very few pieces for an arm, because usually you expect like another like 3 pieces for the upper arm. Yeah, this is more like like what they do with Bandai, where it's like not that many pieces. But I'm still way too cautious about this wrist joint. So, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to build another wrist joint. And this is going to be my test run, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab another piece of tape because the one we were using is already spent. So I'm going to mute my mic for a second. I'll be right back with some more tape. Okay, I'm back. I am going to carefully take this tape and rub it into that little joint. because I do not trust these wrist joints whatsoever. Okay, that takes care of that. So let's carefully put that together like so. Come on, get in there. Get in there. Yeah, that moves. That actually moves. It feels a little slippery, but it's better than breaking. Okay, that needs to go back in there. Okay, so how does the wrist go on again? Because usually you have to line up the proper pegs. Okay, so this peg goes in like so. Okay, I'm going to check this peg here. I'm just checking it. Yeah, that moves a lot better, and I'm not worried about it breaking. So yeah, the wrists on this absolutely need lubrication. So I'm going to clean that up. Two, three. Okay, so we got that taken care of for now. I'm going to clean up a lot of these nubs, and we're just going to speed run the arm again. Because we are pretty close to finishing the arms. And then we'll finish the legs. And then we'll get to the legs, I mean. But yeah, other than those wrists, and wrists are pretty common to be like really, really hard to work on, because unless it's like a Bandai joint where it's like cut in at that like at the I'm trying to remember what it's called, at an angle rather than straight on, then these joints are just really, really fragile. That's why I was really careful when I was putting in the hair pieces, because I did not want to break these. But they are fairly movable, and I'm not too worried. But yeah, these wrists, I had to lubricate because that felt way too tight when I put this one on. Okay. You can kind of see I can't really move it at all. Okay. Yeah, anytime you get a girl claw, always, 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 always check one joint first. Do not assemble them all at once. Check a single joint. If it feels too tight, try to take it apart and lubricate it with a piece of tape or like whatever else you can get your hands on to lubricate joints. Because I think there's actually joint lubricant that you can get for model kits that will not affect the plastic too much. But yeah, do not risk just putting it in and hoping it will work properly, because otherwise you will break shit. Okay. Now let's get started on the build. Gotta make sure that's in correctly. Yeah, it doesn't matter what manufacturer it is, always check your wrist joints. Always, 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 always check your wrist joints. Ah, crap. Hang on. We need to get the part separator because apparently I didn't clear off the nub properly. It happens, it happens. Sometimes those nubs are so hard to see until you actually put them together. Okay, I just gotta carefully go in here because I'm taking an X-Acto knife to Slice off the excess. There we go. And now let's put the rest of the pieces on. Cut a little bit of my skin there, but thankfully I have calluses that are going to keep me safe there. I only cut the callus, it didn't actually go into the flesh too much. Okay, so we got that taken care of. Now let's see. Gotta make sure I have this assembled correctly. Because if I put the pieces in backwards, we're gonna have issues. And that's the other arm. So, gotta take this off. Jam it in there carefully. Oh, that's a bit tighter than the last time. That's a bit tighter. Come on, get in there. Get in there. There we go. I'm gonna move it around a bit. Move it around. Okay. It doesn't feel tight. It was just a really hard fit to get in there. So we should be good. We should be good. Now then. Oh. Okay. Not going to do that on the stand. I'm going to, once again, take it off and carefully push it on. Okay. We got her head. Doesn't feel tight. And also, if I put that clear piece in, it probably would have broke if I tried to get her head in there. So we got her upper torso done. Thank goodness. I'm going to be honest, there was a bit there that was a little tricky. Okay, so what do we need next? We need B. We need E. We need F. Okay. F's right here, because we're doing the left leg first. F. We need G. We need K. Okay, we also need X1 and X2. This is H. That's... Okay, this is I. Oh, K. These little gold pieces. Okay, so next up we need B. Oh, come on. We need B15. B15. Again, another hexagon hole, so that's going to be a lot easier to fit those pegs in. We need... Okay, we don't need any more B. We need F2. F2. And next we need E5. Next we need F3, just to finish it up. Excuse me there for a second. Okay, let's get these pieces cleaned up. Okay, that's undergating again. Yeah, there's a lot of big pieces on these things, so I don't have to worry too much about little tiny parts I have to put in too much. There are still like tiny pieces like those clear blue pieces over there. Okay, so now we got this, so let's see, how does this go? Okay, this goes right here, I think. No. Goes right here. And then we take this piece and it goes right over like so. So now we have the skin poking out from under the armor. And then we place this armor piece over like so. We got the upper leg done. And considering how much armor is on this, I was expecting more pieces, but nope. Yeah, usually if this was like a Bandai kit, it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces in here. But no, this was a lot simpler to put together. Let's see, F11 and G6. So we got F11. Oh wait, blue snippers first to cut the piece out. And G11. Wait, G6, F11. Okay. I was confused there for a second for some reason. Okay, let's see. Doop. And then F1 and F4. So F1. Snip, snip, snip. F4. Snip, snip, snip. Then finally, because I'm making sure we get the entire lower leg done, F1, F1. And there is F1. Oh wait, red for cleaning. Okay, snip those out. Clean these up. Oh boy. Good thing these are angled, because usually when you have to clear off the legs on a single molded leg piece, you're usually cutting in too deep or not deep enough. Experience here from a Bandai kit here. Come on, gotta make sure we got all that nub off. Okay. A bit of undergating on this one, but not too egregious. And then finally this piece right here. Okay, let's get started. We put this piece in first like so. Let me see. Am I putting it in the right direction? Yes, I am. Okay. So it goes in like so. Then we put in this piece up here. And I forgot it. nub right there. Okay, I'm going to make sure that nub is completely gone before I move any further. So it goes on like so. Then this piece goes on right here. Ah, crud. The tab slipped out. Oh, I have it upside down. I have it upside down. It's supposed to go like this. That's my fault. Because I remembered the piece, but yeah, that's some really nice part layering too. And next we put in this piece. Oh boy. That's a bit of a toughie. I'm going to put it in at an angle. And there we go. I didn't put it in all the way so I can remove it later because this is not a clear plastic piece. I can put it in, but I left just enough that I can pull this out if I plan to repaint this, and I do plan to repaint this. But yeah, we got an upper and lower leg already. I'm guessing the next part is going to be the knee, which is kind of weird. Because usually when they build... Because usually on most kits other than Bandai kits, the knee is basically inside the leg itself for friction. But this seems to be more like the Bandai version, where it's like the knee is assembled and then you plug on the leg onto it. So what we need is 13 and 14. No, wait. We need 13. I'm looking at part numbers here. We need 13. We need 10. We need 14 and 13 off of this runner. I believe this runner. 13 and 14, yes. Okay, so that's 14. That's 13. And finally, we need one piece off of runner F, and that is 6. So snip, snip, done. Okay, so let's see, how do we do this? Oh, we gotta clean the parts first. I was just looking at the instructions on how to build the piece first before I start cleaning. Snip, snip, snip. Again, hexagon hole, a lot better than a standard hole. Because again, space gives it a little bit extra breathing room. Okay, keep going. Keep snipping. And I believe that should be it. So let me see, how does this go? How does this go? Okay, so this goes in right here. Has some nice tightness, but not overly tight. Excuse me. That goes in like so. Cap that over. Yeah, this definitely feels like a 30-minute missions kneecap. And finally, this plugs into the tab like so. And next we put in the lower leg, then the upper leg, and the knee joint, the knee armor fits onto the upper and lower leg just fine. Okay, next up we need X1. We need 8, 10, and 11. So 10, and these are loosely on, so I can just pop these off with just the red. 11. and 8, which gives us our hip assembly. So, okay, it doesn't seem that we have any requirement of which way it's supposed to go. I'm also twisting the joint to make sure it's not too tight. Make sure that there's no... Okay, there we go. Next up, we need B5. B5. There we go. So snip that off the runner. And then we need B8. B8. Get that off the runner like so. So now let's snip the pieces off. Oh my gosh, there's undergating here, and it's going to be really tricky to get this cleaned up. And there we go. Next up is this, again, undergating, but it's not like in a spot that's going to be really hard to get clean, so. And this part right here is just right there on the plastic, so I don't have to worry about the undergating. Okay, let's see. Okay, I need to see what way this is supposed to go. Okay, it goes in like this. Oh, seems to have a slider in there. Snap the thing together. And that's a pretty big hip there. But then again, I've seen a lot of people comment on her backside. That's for damn sure. Not into that kind of games, but I mean, not into that kind of stuff. But yeah, we got her full leg done. I'm going to take this off, test out the connection. It looks like it's a ball joint. What the heck? Did I paint rub on this? How could I paint rub? There's no paint on this thing, so how could I paint rubbed? It looks like there's this little bit of gray on the thing here. Okay, I'm gonna move her arm up. Get that in. Get it in. Yeah, I'm doing this off camera because I really need to concentrate and use my full force. There we go. Testing the joint out before we call it done. Okay, it's a nice ball joint. I don't feel like this is too tight, but it does feel like we got a nice secure fit on there. So let's move our arms back down. But yeah, I'm not sure if you can see, but there's like this little smudge right there. It's kind of hard to notice on camera, but I can see it definitely. And while we are at it, I'm going to raise this up a bit because her feet are pretty close there. Okay, come on. Let's get that into a notch. Let's see. Next up, we need F10. F10 right here. Snip those pieces out. Like so. F5. Okay, the F5 is giving me something here because I don't know if that's a tab or a nub. considering how close it is to the thing. Okay, it looks like it's a nub, not a tab, so I think I should be able to clean that off. Okay, F9, F8, they give us 2 joints per leg, so we should be good. But, okay, there we go. There we go. And we need G19. G19, there it is. So we gotta quickly snip that out like so. Okay, let's get this cleaned up and then we'll start building. Oh crap, the undergating on this is super duper close. Usually they only do that when it's like tabs necessary for building, but nope. That's just undergating, so I could just go right across and get them both in one go. Okay, snip that off like so. Snip this off. It's slightly undergated, but it's not too egregious. Oh, crud. I scarred it up just a little bit. Okay, let's see. That's one more. Okay, and next up is this one. Okay, and done. And then finally these little pieces. The joints are big enough that I'm not terribly worried, but considering we already had problems with the wrist joints, I am not going to take any chances. I'm going to take this off camera for a second and carefully, very carefully put it together, testing the part tolerances as I do. Okay, that's a little tight, but it's not egregious. I am not worried about this joint breaking. It doesn't feel too tight. So, okay, let's see. Goes in like this. Make sure I got the holes aligned properly. So, yeah, that goes like that. Okay, I have to make sure I got this part in correctly because the pegs might be different sizes. Oh, wait. I didn't cut out a piece. K2. And this is very, very, very loosely on, so I just have to get my red nippers and get this off. But yeah, I was so caught up in finally getting this done that I didn't realize I had a piece I didn't cut out yet. Let's see. Okay, it goes in like so. And this looks like it's just a detail part. So it goes in like this. And that's her heel. So let's get her off the stand. Let's get this in, like so. Careful. I put it in backwards. I didn't realize I did. Okay, let's see. And there is her foot. So we have one leg done. And unfortunately now she's can't really stand too well on the stand because the arm is too low. Okay, let's pop that out. And lock in place. And there we go. It looks to be about time for another break. When we come back, we will finish her other leg, and then we'll do the whole booster pack, which looks like to be the last piece other than just her weaponry, which we're going to hang on the thing when we're done. So, see you in about 5 minutes. maybe a little bit more than that. So just get around, get up, walk around, get some drinks, get some snacks, and I'll see you when we get back later, and we will be back soon.
迫る初夏地獄の軍団我らを狙う黒い影世界の平和を守るため Go! Go! Let's go! 輝くマシンライダージャンプライダーキック仮面ライダー仮面ライダーライダーライダーライダージャンプライダーキック仮面ライダー仮面ライダーライダーライダー
仮面ライダー一文字隼人は改造人間である。彼を改造したショッカーは世界征服を企む悪の秘密結社である。仮面ライダーは人間の自由のためにショッカーと戦うのだ。
大地を蹴ってライダージャンプ空中回転大風車稲妻を呼ぶライダーキック敵を倒したライダーチョップおーライダー仮面ライダー空気を蹴ってライダーブレン地面水平大飛行竜巻を呼ぶライダージェット敵投げ飛ばすライダーカットおーライダー仮面ライダー
仮面ライダー本郷武は改造人間である。彼を改造したショッカーは世界征服を企む悪の秘密結社である。仮面ライダーは人間の自由のためにショッカーと戦うのだ。
仮面ライダー V3 赤い赤い
仮面の V3 ダブル台風命のベルト力と技の風車が回る父よ母よ妹よ風のうなりに血が叫び力の限りぶち当たる敵は地獄のデストロン戦う正義の仮面ライダー V3仮面ライダー X セットアップセットアップセットアップ銀の仮面に黒マフラー光に輝く武器と武器ストップゴッドの悪巧み父の叫びは波の音光のライドル引き抜いて X ライダー今日も行く仮面ライダー X
And we're back. Sorry, I took a little bit longer than that. Yeah, I was preemptively cutting these runners while on break, so because the next leg is pretty simple to build because we already know what parts we need. And of course, since we've already cleared out this runner and we need to keep these joints for later, we are going to preemptively cut this out. Unfortunately, since I can't really cut through this too well, I'm going to have to just cut from here. Yeah, so now you have the spare ankle joints in the box. Okay, now we get this off, this off, like so, this off like so, and I am going to check about this piece right here first before we do anything else. Let's see, that is X16, so X1, yeah, that is an unused part, so I'm going to quickly snip that out and toss the rest of the runners. That way I do not need this right now. Okay, so we got everything ready for the next leg. Just gotta clean off the nubs. Yeah, looks like we might be able to get this done pretty soon. Let me see, undergating. Is there any undergating I missed? Nope. Because right now, we're on the other leg, and then we finish the backpack unit and the weapons, and we'll be done. So we might be able to get this done pretty quickly. Okay, snip that off, snip that off, snip that off. Yeah, did not see any undergating here. Yeah, I'm actually surprised how quickly this is going. I was expecting this to be like taking me until 7 o'clock to build, but nope. This feels like I'm building a Bandai kit in some spots. Other spots is clearly like non-Bandai, like the wrist joints and whatnot, but apart from that, this build has not been too bad. And while I haven't personally played Mech Break because my computer cannot handle it, and I don't have a PS5 to play it on right now, I don't want to try to get it on PS4 because, quite frankly, PS4 probably going out of service soon, I heard. This is definitely a good Mecha Musume kit, if I'm to be honest. Again, those wrist joints are kind of something you're going to have to be careful about. And don't make the same mistake I did at the start of the stream and break part of the stand. But aside from that, it's not bad. It's not a bad kit at all. In fact, the fact that it's pre-painted on a few parts actually makes it a pretty nice kit, to be honest. Not very many kits actually pre-paint the parts on the runner. Unless it's like a super expensive kit or a fairly beginner-friendly kit, or sometimes both. Because usually when you see a kit that has pre-painted parts, it's usually just the face. That, or it's like pre-painted gold runners and whatnot. There's something you see fairly common on a Bandai kit. Okay. This thing has like double undergating. I have to be careful getting those bits off. Make sure it's nice and clean. I also honestly wouldn't mind getting this kit again. Because, of course, there's actually a VTuber out there who is literally just a personification of the Falcon, so simple head swap, don't have to repaint. Fairly simple. But I already have this planned out for another character already, and that's going to have a little bit more of a substantial repaint, so yeah, if I ever have the chance to get this again, I would. And probably not taking as many liberties with the paint job as I plan to do with this one. Let me see, I just gotta make sure I got the nubs lined up properly on the thing. Yeah. And aside from this section right here, I haven't had very many stress marks either. But it's also not a kit that would be easy to clean off those stress marks, because it seems like most of the parts that would get stress marked when you cut it are the white, and white does not stress mark at all because stress marks are white to begin with. Yeah, so having the really heavy duty cutting done on the white plastic is actually pretty nice, because you're not putting too much on the stress marks. Okay. And as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this base is on the regular mecha versions of this kit. I also think, I'm not sure, but I think they're also doing a Mecha Musume of one of the other mechs from the game too. Let me see, I gotta see if I got this right. Okay, so it goes like this. I'm just going to assemble the joint right off the bat at the proper angle. Oh, well, at least it's a big part that I don't lose easily. And you got her hip taken care of. And again, that is a very substantial hip she has there. Okay, so next up is you need this right here. Oh, wait, right here actually. I go upper. And this goes right here around the leg, like so. Snap on the armor bit like so. Lower leg. Oh wait, gotta get this correct here. Snap that in. Okay, I just need to see where the pieces I need. Hang on, do I got this right? Oh, right. This piece goes in like this. And then this piece goes in like so. And you flip it around. And put in the gold piece like so. Make sure that I have enough grip to actually get that out of there later without needing to. Hang on. There we go. That's exactly the reason I'm trying to put it in an angle. That way I have grip to get it out later. Because that took way too much effort to get out. Okay, I'm going to assemble the foot next. Come on, get in there. Get in there. There we go. Ah, crud. I missed the tab. Okay, that fell on my instructions in my lap, so I don't have to worry about losing that. Okay, we got to get that gold piece right in there like so. And I missed another tab. And frickin-tastic. I got to pull this off carefully so I don't break the peg. And cut the piece I missed. I am not doing good today. Okay, let's get that back in like it's supposed to be, like so. Then heel. And ankle. Taking this off camera so I get the ankle properly assembled. Okay, I gotta get that in properly. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's not good. Okay, I'm testing out the joint, testing out the joint. Okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh shit. Oh shit! Crap. I was afraid of this. Hang on, hang on. Yeah, we got a joint break. We got a joint break. I was afraid this was going to happen. Hang on. Crap. Doing so good, and then all of a sudden this had to happen. And oh crap, it is deep in there. It is deep. Okay, I'm gonna have to do a little surgery here. Ah, damn it. Broke when I try to get it out. Okay, how am I gonna get this peg out without damaging the joint? Oh, crap. Damn it. Damn it, damn it. Fucking damn it. Fuck. Can't believe it. Another piece broke on camera, and it's a critical one at that. Hang on. I'm gonna need to go get my pin vise to fix this. Okay, I'm back. Oh, crud. That took a while, and I kind of scraped some of the hole there, but we got the peg out. Okay. Gotta get one of the spare joints now because that fucker had to break. Okay, we're gonna test the fit before we put the joint on again. But seriously, that thing, I should have known. I should have known better. Because that felt good going in at first. It felt good going in at first. But then when I started pushing it further, it started feeling a little tight. So I am going to get that lubricated because we are not taking a second chance on this. I do not want to lose another damn joint. Okay, let's get this taken care of because I don't want to lose another ankle joint on this damn model again. Okay, that feels a lot better now. I am not worried about losing that joint because I had to lubricate it. Okay, now we reassemble her foot. There we go. I am also going to quickly take a look at this because is it safe? No, it is not safe. It is not safe at all. Okay. I am going to quickly take this out. Very, very carefully take this thing out. There we go. Because I don't want to risk the other joint being lost. Okay, I got it out. No worries. We got the joint out. I'm going to lubricate it because it was starting to feel tight now. Carefully lubricate it. There we go. Now I am no longer worried that we're going to have another break. There we go. Put her foot back on. There we go. Now I am no longer worried about any breakage. Come on, straighten up. Okay, let's get the... crap. I forgot the last two pieces we need for her kneecap. Yeah, the problem with when you break an ankle, it's really hard to get it back on. Okay, that's one. I do believe, let's see, this is 13 and 14. So 14 goes down here, 13 goes up here. And put it in like so, like so. There we go. Snap that in place like so. Get the knee in like so. And we are done. Now we got to take her off again to get that leg on because it's a pretty tight fit. Yeah, can't believe I had yet another break on stream. Okay, testing the joint, making sure it's not too tight. And we got the full body done. Thank goodness. Now then, before we continue, there is something I've noticed about this, or rather I was told online, is that the neck joints are the same as a 30-minute sister. So we're going to test that out real quick before we continue. So I'm going to pop off her head. Pop this one on, and yeah, the 30-minute sister head works on the body, and she fits on a 30-minute sister's body. So yeah, there's that. And of course, these are the parts I'm going to be using for the sci-fi build. Yeah, the Bandai head goes on pretty quick. And of course, as you can see, this is the fishnet leggings, because there is actual fishnets on here. Okay, gotta line up the hole again. A little bit more of a solid connection, but okay, need to find where the hole is. Again, don't take that out of context. So yeah. We got the main body done. Now we have to do her weapons. So next is the wing form module, as it's called in the instructions. So we need E, H, well, H is right here. I'm going to move these out of the way so I have more room to work. We need I. We, of course, have E right here. We need X2. And we also need G, it looks like. It looks like there's at least 2 pieces on G we need. We also need these little pieces right here that are pre-painted and don't come on a runner at all. So let's get started. First off, we need H11, H9, I5. Wait a minute. I5. Okay, I5's on here. Okay, snip, snip, snip. And we need H. We need H11 and 9. 11 is right here. And again, pre-painted. Oh, crap. 9 is super, super, super tiny. I actually don't feel comfortable taking those off, so I'm going to leave 9 off for now. Yeah, just that little hole right there, which I don't know why that was even cut off to begin with, because that is super tiny, and I do not feel comfortable at all trying to put that on. Okay, there is no undergating here, so that's easy clean. Okay, come on. There we go. And also we put this right in here like so. And we do the same on the other side. Also, repainted piece right there. So clip that off. Okay, 11's right here. Clip, clip, clip. Right, I gotta put this back up here. Okay, let's see. This is undergating, so this is gonna be a tricky. Okay, that's cleaned off. Next up is cleaning this piece off. Very carefully cleaning it up. And I just remember, today's Friday the 13th. That's probably why I'm having so many frickin' issues right now. Seriously, I'm usually good on Friday the 13th. I watch Jason. I mean, I'm planning to watch Friday the 13th tonight. So I don't know why Friday the 13th is deciding to screw me over all of a sudden. Okay, let's see. H1, H1. Which one's H1? Okay. Yeah, but yeah, I'm planning to watch The New Blood because that's one of my favorite Friday the 13th movies. Okay, X2, 5. So we need the X2. We need 5. 8, 9. Wait a minute. Okay, that looked weird on the instructions. I didn't recognize it at first. Okay, so this goes... And snip this off like so. Ah, shit. Dropped it. Hang on. Hang on. Okay. There we go. Put that back up here. Okay. Got those trimmed off. Okay, now for the undergating. It's the joint area that isn't undergated. And I have to show this off here because look at that. Look at that. Look at that pre-painted part. And yeah, that's pre-painted because you can see some of the paint bleed on the inside. But yeah, the fact that they went this out of the way to make sure that this was already painted on the runner definitely shows a level of commitment you don't see often in model kits. I mean, the only model kits I can think of that are painted like this was my Maple model kit, and a lot of that was pre-painted right off the bat. I think there was also a few other model kits I've built that were also pre-painted like that, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. Okay, I think that goes like that, because the joint... Okay, am I... Oh, I did that wrong. Oh, wait, I did that right. I did that right. Okay, so it's supposed to go like this. So clean these up next. Okay, I gotta trim this off a little bit more because that nub does not want to clean off too well. Okay, my phone's vibrating, but I have it on silent, so I can't really answer it right now. Okay, let's see. This goes in like so. Come on, get in there. Get in there. There we go. Now, next up is... So this goes in like... Okay, where does it go? Where does it go? Right here? No? Oh! I'm doing this wrong. It goes in right here. And then we take I. We take piece I here. Okay, so I 8. Okay, so clip that off like so. And then the piece goes in, I believe, like, no, wait. Yeah, it does go in like that. So it goes in like so. So we have a nice joint there. Well, I'm wondering what that's for. We do the same on the other side. Oh, right. It's on this runner, because I'm an idiot. I 8. I'm just going to quickly snip these off, not worrying about the nub. Get the undergating off, because there's a little bit of undergating. And ow! Oh, that's sharp. Actually stuck me. Didn't draw blood, but it stuck me still. Oh, right, now I remember. Goes on here like so. Then we line up the shot, and there we go. Next up, we do the exact same thing, except it's the alternate version of the wing. So snip, 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 snip. Yeah, it is pretty much mirrored, so it's pretty obvious exactly what pieces we need. So we put that down. We're going to need this piece. Kind of the interesting thing when you have mirrored pieces that once you get to a certain point, it's pretty obvious what you're supposed to clip out, even if they're like the opposite direction. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, now we need the white pieces. And we need this piece right here. And then finally, we need these pieces. Okay, these are close enough that I can just clip them off without having to worry about and there. Oh wait, over here. Okay, let's get these pieces cleaned off. Oh, there was some undergating right there. Okay, come on, get that cleaned, get that cleaned. There we go. I'm going to double check this to be sure. Okay, so that is the only time we actually have an interior. Looks like that's where the thing clips together. I gotta make sure that's extra clean, or else it's not going to snap together like it's supposed to. Okay. Just going through the motions here. Going through the motions. Okay. Again, because it's very similar to what we had before. Yeah, it looks like this is how it works, and okay, let me see. How does this go in? Come on, get in there. Get in there. There we go. I got the joint in like supposed to be. Then we pop this on like so. And oh, I forgot to clean that off. Snip. 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 And oh, goes on like so. There we got the second wing. Next up, we do the same for the other side. Make sure all of the nubs are nice and cleaned off. Okay, this one's going to be the tricky one because it's pretty close to a tab we still need. Okay, there we go. Snip, snip. Oh, that's not cleaning off good. Snip. Sure, I got that snip there. Put that on. Snap this in, which is going to be pretty tight fit. Come on, get in there. Got it. And finally clean this off. Okay, I think that's good. We snap this on like so, and we are almost done. We almost forgot one piece. Snap, snip. Okay, get there. Snip. There we go. We got both wings done. Okay, next up we need I-15. I-15. Let's see, I-15 is right there. I think I should be able just to get this out without needing to clean this up too much. So 15 is out. And let's see, which direction does this need to go? Okay, goes this way. So this goes in first, like so. It's okay. Doesn't feel too tight, so I think it should be good. And then this piece goes in next. Like so. And then we get piece 16, which ties it all together. Okay, I'm checking something here. I'm checking something. Yeah, those little pieces that you're supposed to put in, I don't understand why. Because I checked it and it doesn't seem to be doing anything other than just being a pain in the butt. Okay, I need to carefully fold this up so I have enough room to jam this in there. Oh, crud. Hang on, hang on. Because I gotta jam this in there pretty good. And then slide this down like so. Locking that in place, and then we close up the wing. And there we go. Yeah, those little tabs don't really do anything, it looks like, at all. Yeah, there we go. There's the first wing. And of course it doesn't move because it only moves outward. So next up we do the same on the other side. Okay, so same process as before. This goes in right here. This goes in right here. Make sure these are down. There is 16, there's 16. Snip those off real quick. Get that piece in there and push it. Okay, that flew out of my hands. Okay, there we go. There we go. It's in. And then line these up so they tab together. And there we have the second wing. Okay, next up is is H5I7. H5I7. And then I8 and H6. There we go. Okay, put this back over here. Let's get these pieces cleaned up. Okay, where is the... There we go. These do not seem to be undergated, so we should be good. Okay. Oh. Nah, come on. Come on. Oh, wait. That is not the correct piece. That goes that one. Where did the other one go? Did cut it off. Oh, it went over here. And now we're just making a huge mess. Come on. Stay over there. Stay over there. Okay, let's trim this off real quick. This goes in like so, and then we put this on right here, I believe. I got this right. Okay, there we go. Clean this off some more. Snap that on like so. And then put this on like so. That just goes on really smooth. So yeah, we got one whole wing done. So we're going to do the next one. So we take these pieces off like so. Then these pieces off like so. And okay. Now we clean the nubs off. Ah, crud. Need to make sure that's cleaned up completely before I try to snap that together. I believe this is, nope. Okay, we got that cleaned up. Almost. A little bit of nub still there. Okay, slide that in like so. I feel like I'm getting a little bit more sloppy now that I'm trying to rush through this, but I need to remind myself not to rush, not to rush. Okay, and the part fell on the floor. Okay, big enough that wasn't lost, so snap that together. Now then, let's see. This side goes in like so. Okay, I gotta find the hole. There it is. Same with the other side. And we got the other wing done. Okay, I do believe it's time for another 5-minute break. I think this will be the last one because it looks like we are just about done with the build here. We just got 2 more sections, the main backpack unit, and then the weapons, and then we'll be done. So I think we're pretty damn close. So we shall see you again in about 5 minutes. See you when we return.
仮面ライダーストロンガージョー茂は自ら進んで改造手術を受けて電気人間となり、日本の平和と正義を守るため世界征服を狙う悪の組織ブラックサタンを倒すべく完全と立ち上がった。誰かが君を狙っている。何かがやってくる。誰だ？誰だ？誰だ？
ろう君ほらあのマシンの爆音大地がとどろき風がうなるそれはそれはあのマシンに乗る男の熱い血潮の塊悪を憎む怒りの雄たけびライダー男の名は仮面ライダ仮面ライダースーパーワン青い空からやってきて緑の地球を救うもの赤い正義の血を燃やし銀の機械の腕振るうそれは金の心を持つ男海を山をふるさと5つの腕で守る5つの愛の腕でライダースーパーライダー仮面ライダースーパーワン
10号誕生仮面ライダー全員集合電撃稲妻熱風電撃稲妻熱風ドラゴン
Okay, I'm back. Decided to put in piece 9 anyway, and turns out it's just a gap filler, so I guess I could just put them in. Problem is trying to actually get them in the pain in the butt, but possible, because there's actually a gap on this side. I also broke the tip of my X-Acto knife trying to get this loosened up. But for now, we are not going to bother with that, but it is something that's probably going to be like an off-stream thing because it is a pain in the butt to get those little gap fillers in. Now we're just going to clean off the rest of this runner because it looks like it's going to be pretty simple from here on out. With one exception, we got to keep this on because we only need one of them. I'm just going to snip off all the pieces I know we're going to need for later. Oh, I realized I was still stuck on there. Okay, that's all the pieces we need off of that runner for now. Now we snip off the rest of the pieces off this runner. And just try to speed run this as quickly as possible because we are just about done. Aside from all those little tiny part 9s, which I will put in after stream because it turns out they're not really needed. We're just going to clean up the rest of these little Nope. Put that off to the side for now. We'll need that later. And we're also going to clean off this side. Of course, we're going to keep all the 9s on this, so we can just snip this as we go. These are going to be all of our spare part 9s. We can put those away. Just keep that snipping going. Okay. Just one more piece off this runner, and then we can just toss it. Next up. Yeah, just trying to speed run this here as quickly as possible. And I dropped another piece. Where'd it go? There it is. Thankfully that was a bigger piece and not a small piece that was going to be a pain in my ass to find later. Okay, making quick work here. Just gotta keep moving, keep snipping. And there we go. Now let's get some of this stuff cleaned up before we start assembling. Because we are really close to the end here, and I want to try to get this done as quickly as possible before it gets too late. Another pre-painted piece right there. Yeah, got the tape stuck on my nippers there. Okay. Just gotta rush through, making sure I got all the nubs taken care of. That takes care of that. Undergating is going to be a pain in the butt. Really going to be a pain in the butt. That's really close to that hole there. That's dangerously close to a peg. I gotta be very careful this point. There we go. Okay. All this is clear. Okay, that takes care of a nub I have to clear off just a little bit. And this should be the last piece we need to clean off before we get to the next stage. We're going to try to assemble this whole section first, and the first thing we need to do is take this piece, which wasn't even on the runner, and stick this engine piece right on like so. Let's see, we need this piece, and this goes right in. No, I got this backwards. Goes in like so. No, okay, I'm doing this backwards, I think. Okay, so we need this piece to go in like so, and then goes in like this. Okay, I had that incorrect. Next, we take this piece, plug it on. Wait, is that the right way? Yeah, okay. I'm checking the diagram to make sure I got this on the right side because it is not clear exactly how the ball joint's supposed to snap in. Wait a minute. Wait. Oh, I wasn't putting it on the ball joint at all. I was putting it on that joint because I was an idiot. Okay, that goes on like so. Okay, let's see. This goes on right here. I think it's supposed to go on right there. Yeah, it's supposed to go on like that. Oh man, that tab does not like going in. Okay, there we go. And then this piece goes on like so. Although this order seems a little off. Okay, we need this piece. We need these two pieces, and they need to snap together. I need to check to see if I got this in the right direction. Oh, good lord, this thing is really finicky. Okay, I got that on. C-clip down, this piece up. And wait a minute. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I missed a nub. I thought it was a tab, but no, it's a nub. I gotta trim off that nub before I go any further. Okay, I gotta carefully put that in like so. And then it clips on right there. So that's on a C-clip. Now then, okay. Next up, assemble the rifle. So this goes right here. This goes right here. And this goes right on top. Let me see. Am I getting this right? Okay. It's gotta snap in like that and there. Because it opens up to vent. So yeah. That takes care of one side. Now let's do the other and not try to screw this up again. And immediately after I say that, screw up again. Okay. I want to make sure this is nice and clean before we continue. Okay, getting quickly through these little nubs. I'll push these off to the side so I know which ones I've cleaned off already. Ah, crap. Hang on. I see a view bot that needs to die in Minecraft. Okay. Ban that bot. And here I thought this stream was going to be boring. Okay. Ah, a little bit of a nub in the blade, so it wasn't cutting properly. Gotta keep going, gotta keep going. I need that later. The undergang on this side is a pain in my butt. Make sure I don't nip something I'm not supposed to. Okay, next up. The instruction manual fell, but that's fine because I am pretty sure I can do this from memory because we're just building it again. Okay, next up. Okay, and last piece to clean off. There we go. Now let's get this started. I'm just going to power through this because we already know the steps we need. Got the gun done. No, wait, wrong way. This way, this way. Okay, so this goes here. This goes here. This goes in properly this time because now we know which the ball joint is. Okay, so this piece. No, wait, this piece. And this piece. Come on, get on there. Okay, this thing's the little tab thing's a little pain in my butt. And that goes there. This goes right in here, I believe. Then right here. And we are done with that. So let me get the instructions out from underneath the table. First things first, we are going to hang up her guns on the rack. Okay, that's where it's supposed to go. And this one goes right here. So now we just have to do the central connector and the armatures. So let's see. What we need is 7 from this runner. We need 2 from the same runner, which allows us to toss this completely. Oh wait. Yeah, I had to double check just to be sure. We need this right here. And this piece. So we gotta clean these off first. Undergating again, of course. Okay, 2, 3, and this piece last. Oh, that's not cleaning up too good. Okay, there we go. And let's see, what is this piece gonna need? Okay, let's see. And pop that in like so. Let's see, this goes in like so. And I hear something upstairs. Let me check real quick. Yeah, I had a bit of an emergency there. Flour container just fell and it's all over the floor now. Gotta deal with that in a few minutes. Considering how close we are to finishing here, I should be able to finish this up real quick before I have to deal with that. Okay, so what do we need? Because we need 11 and we need I11. This is just loosely on, so we can just easily just trim this off like so. And this goes on right here. There we go. That's on. We stick this on like so, and now we got a full... Okay, I have no idea what you're posting, man. Okay, I am seeing a little bit of a problem here because apparently... Hang on. I gotta clean this off. Of course, everything goes wrong Friday the 13th. Okay, so we got that finished. And now we need... Let's see, where is the runner G? There we go. We need this piece right over here. We snap this on like so, and then we put this on like so, and we got the second wing done. Now for the next part. Let's see. Which one's the right? Which one's the left? Okay. Here we go. We need 8 and 9. Okay, this is 9 right here. I can easily just snip that off because they're pretty loose on the frame. And there we go. Next, we will need 2 and 3 off of this runner. Yeah. And these are also loose on the frame, so I can easily just snip them out and toss them when we're done. Okay, so snip, 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 snip. And of course, toss that, clean off the nub a little bit, and let's see. So 9 goes in like so. I'm going to test that joint. Okay, that's not too tight. I'm not worried about it being tight. Again, don't say it. Don't say it. Okay, I need to line up the pegs here before I swoosh this together. Okay, so now I need to see how this is supposed to go on. Okay, so it points down like this, snaps into place like so, and goes in like that. So we have one side done. Now for the other side. Let's see. We need 8 and 9 again. Come on. Gotta finish this up real quick. Okay, we can put those in there, put those in there. Let's clip this spare piece out. Because we don't need this anymore. So we just gotta clip out 2 and 3 again. Okay. And toss that runner. Okay, let's see. Next up. Trying to see exactly how I got this aligned up. So that goes down like so. Good friction, but not too tight. So there we go. Pop that into place. Push that together. Pop that in like so. And pop that in like so. And now we take her off the stand. We place the jetpack right on her back like so. So now she has her wings. And now for the last pieces. We need 1. So 1 and 12. These are the last pieces we need before we're done. Yeah, gotta carefully snip these out. Ah, crud. I thought this thing wasn't undergated, but it's undergated, so I gotta quickly clean these up. Cleaned up. Okay, now we gotta... Okay, so I need to see how this fits. Okay, so okay. So it goes over the joint like so. Clips on to the base like so. And it just holds her in place. Okay, gotta line it up like that. So yeah, that is the complete model. Of course, the alternate way to do it is to pop this off. Pop it right on the back like so for storage. And then this just goes into the storage tray below. So line that peg up to the hole, slide out the tray, put in the storage container, and we're done. We can now come and say that this kit is now completed. I do like that storage bay. I do like the launching bay display base. I do like how the tray slides up, although I did have to lubricate it to actually get it to work properly. And of course, I have to make sure all those parts are. Yeah, I do like how the wing pack works, although I still need to monkey around with it because I still need to fill the holes. Because again, those part 9s were just hole fillers, it looks like. Need to fix this wrist after the stream because this thing is way too tight. I'm going to have to lubricate this. But yeah, I would recommend getting this kit if you have the chance. But for now, I have to go upstairs and work on cleaning. So I'll see you guys then on Sunday for Parasite Eve. So I'll see you guys again next time. Later.